Hello everyone and welcome to today's English language lesson which focuses specifically on modal verbs. So in today's lesson we will be looking at what are the different modal verbs, what impact do the different modal verbs have on a sentence, and how can we then use that to write about modal verbs. So let's start with what modal verbs are. A modal verb is a type of verb that is used to express the possibility, likelihood, ability, permission, or obligation of something. We have a list of different modal verbs here. We've got may, would, can, must, will, shall, should, might, and could. There are other words like ought, need, and have, which fall into the semi-modal verb category, but today we're just going to focus on these 9. And what I always ask my A-level English language students is to think about initially is which of these modal verbs is the strongest in nature and which are the weakest. And this normally helps to give a good indication of why they might have been chosen by the speaker or the writer. Now quite often students will pick up on a word like must as being a very strong modal verb and a word like may being a lot weaker. And I think it's always useful to then put these words into the same sentence and figure out the different effects of them and therefore the reactions that they might invoke by a text receiver. So let's have a look at these examples on the screen and imagine the different reaction these sentences might have if they were said to the same student. Here we have the sentence you must redo your coursework, and then we have the sentence you may redo your coursework. And I think it's quite clear with the first sentence that there's very little choice for the listener. So the speaker or the writer of this sentence wants to indicate that there is no choice as well. They're telling them that it is a necessity that they do this thing and therefore it will happen. However, by just changing the modal verb in this second sentence, you may redo your coursework, the whole meaning is changed. Suddenly there's a choice for the student, which was not there in the first sentence, and so therefore they don't have to do it. Therefore, you could argue that sentence 1 is a lot stronger than sentence 2 in its meaning. Let's look at another set of examples. So here we have the phrases I will go to the party, I might go to the party, and I should go to the party. And again, the modal verb completely changes the meaning of the sentence. Will, I would say, indicates a definite statement. This speaker or writer has made a decision and therefore there's a full likelihood that they will be at that party, even if they didn't want to be there. For sentence 2, I might go to the party. It suggests to me that the speaker isn't sure whether they'll be attending. Maybe they can attend but they don't want to, or whether they've got something else as well that they might need to go to instead. It leaves it open. And so this sentence has far less clarity and certainty in it than sentence 1 did. Sentence 3 I think is interesting, and with so much of what we look at in English language, it holds a great deal of subtext as well. As the use of the modal verb here, I should go to the party, implies that the person can go, but perhaps they don't want to, but they feel maybe obligated to go. Examples like this one show why understanding modal verbs I think can be so useful in the study of English language, as they appear all the time in spoken and written texts, and whether it's conscious or unconscious, the modal verb a text producer has chosen to use can tell us so much about how they feel about a particular topic. So taking that last example then, this is how we might write about modal verbs. Here we have Ruby saying, do you want to go to the cinema tonight? And Joy saying, that sounds great, but I should go to the party. And if we to write about this, we might say something along the lines of, the use of the modal verb should suggests there is an obligation by Joy to attend the party, and the connotations of duty implied by this particular choice of modal verb shows that this is perhaps something she would prefer not to do. Should does not make her attendance a complete certainty, however it is more than likely and therefore can be taken by Ruby as her reason for not going to the cinema instead. Hopefully this example demonstrates how you can write a lot about very little and how modal verb choice is so important, whether it is something that people have chosen consciously or unconsciously. I hope you found this lesson on modal verbs useful. If so, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and let me know in the comments if there is anything else you want me to cover.